And joining me now is California Democratic Congresswoman Barbara Lee. She is, of course, a member of the Appropriations Committee as well as the Budget Committee. Congresswoman, it's great to have you back on the show. Thank you so much for your time. There's a lot to cover. I do want to start with those U.S. airstrikes because this month you actually sponsored a bipartisan bill in the House to repeal the 2002 authorization for use of military force. That bill passed the House but is actually delayed in the Senate. The Pentagon said that the strikes against Iranian-backed militias in Iraq and Syria were, quote, designed to limit the risk of escalation, but also to send a clear and an unambiguous deterrent message. Do you agree with that assessment? Do you think these strikes will actually de-escalate the situation?
Ayman, first of all, thank you for that question. But let me say, of course, our first concern are our troops. And keeping them out of harm's way and doing everything we can do to protect our troops. But secondly, the authorization that we're attempting to repeal was the authorization to use force based on, of course, lies that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. That's not the case. And so what is taking place now, unfortunately, I believe, is that the president is circumventing Congress once again. Congress is required in any military action or being considered by the president, he should come to Congress and we should debate this and we should decide whether or not we authorize or not any form of military action. And of course, I'm concerned that it may escalate. I'm looking forward to hearing more of the details, but I think long term, we've got to know what the plans are. We have got to know how we achieve our goals in the region without causing more violence and more escalation. And so I think that it's important that Congress be more involved. We've been missing in action. Now is the time for us to step up and say to any administration that we want to make sure that we exercise our constitutional responsibility and authorize or not the use of force.
Congressman, as you know, this week the House will vote to establish a select committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Who would you like to see placed on that committee, and what do you think their top priority should be? Because I'm curious to get your thoughts if you're at all concerned that the partisan nature of the committee means that any of its findings can be dismissed by Republicans as partisan rancor, the way that we've seen in the past with the Republicans with their Benghazi committee.
We have to move forward. It's unfortunate that they did not support the establishment of a commission, which would be very close to the 9/11 Commission. But having said that, the Speaker is absolutely correct in establishing the Select Committee, and I hope that it's bipartisan. That's up to the GOP leadership. But we've got to get to the bottom of this. Our democracy was at risk. These were insurrectionists who actually caused the death of many, many people. They were white supremacists. We need to know what has taken place. We need to dig deep into an investigation so that it will never happen again and lay out the facts. And so it's up to the Republicans whether or not they're going to make it bipartisan, factual, and come up with the truth about what took place on January 6th. But I'm confident that we're going to have the people who have the experience and the knowledge and who really want to understand what exactly took place, because this is not over and we cannot afford to allow this to go on, because these militias and these very dangerous organizations are still out there, and we must protect our democracy. We must protect everyone in our country. I was sitting on the floor on January 6th, so I know how dangerous these groups are.
I want to turn to infrastructure for a moment. Will you vote for the bipartisan infrastructure bill if there is no guarantee that an additional package will be passed by Democrats via reconciliation?
Well, I think that's premature, because I think that both of the bills are going to have a dual track. And our Speaker and Senator Schumer, they both are working on the strategy now. I am convinced that the president will sign the American Families Plan. That's up to us to make sure that reconciliation is the appropriate process to get the bill to the president. I mean, we have to have provisions in a bill that really address the needs of this country, including the care economy, including all of the issues around the green economy. And so we have to have both. And I think we're going to have both. And I think that it's going to be a dual track process. And so we're going to have, I think, the opportunity to vote for both.
All right, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it, as always.